Hello, this is the Radical Acceptance and Forgiveness Combination Family Edition. But first, what is radical acceptance and what is forgiveness? Let's start with forgiveness. So, forgiveness is a decision to let go of the pain that was caused to you by somebody else or by yourself, since we're talking about the family edition and maybe some inner family systems. We are deciding to let go of the pain, not because it was right what was done, not because we like it, not because we condone it, not because we're granting legal mercy or trying to reconcile a relationship. It is simply to let go of our pain, to let go of our suffering and live in peace. Now, very important, grieving is not a linear process. It requires grieving. It's painful, but the point is, even though it's painful throughout the way, when you're on the other side, you will be free of this pain. What is radical acceptance? Radical acceptance is the acceptance of a pattern of behavior. The pattern of behavior of loved ones, your own pattern of behavior that we have no control over. So what does that mean? So we have no control over other people's pattern of behavior, and when it comes to us, some patterns might be really difficult to change. Of course, if we work on it, we can change it, but first we must accept it radically. And so we're accepting the pattern of behaviors of our loved ones or ourselves, not because we like it, not because we condone it, not because we think it's effective, but if we look at the past, at our history or the history of our loved ones, this pattern of behavior makes sense somehow. Okay? Now, also, this is a long process that requires a lot of self-work. So now to the 4 combinations. What are the 4 combinations of radical acceptance and forgiveness? And what does this say about unconditional love? So we have 4 choices. Choice number 1, or combination number 1, is to not to forgive, not to accept radically, and to stay in the relationship. This is something that happens often, right? It's probably like the first stage of us being hurt, right? And so what happens here is that if we're not forgiving, we're probably not accepting, right? And so we're probably not showing unconditional love. We're showing conditional love, right? And so this may look like, if he loved me, he would change. She should know she's hurting me. And that those ill feelings and thoughts and sometimes actions against those that we love. And so the natural consequence of that is to hurt ourselves, right? We're in pain, we're suffering, and to hurt those that we love. Choice number 2 is not to forgive, not to radically accept, and to leave the relationship. All right, so this is a little bit more difficult, especially for those who have an anxious attachment, which is a whole different thing that we can talk about later. And so what happens here is that, again, more suffering, right? And it may look like, I hate you, I never want to see you again, and after the fight or after you leave, you're still thinking about that person. There's a lot of feelings of pain and disgust and anger, and perhaps there's ill thoughts and ill actions towards a person, which, again, the natural consequence of that is we're hurting ourselves and we're hurting that person, right? And obviously this is not unconditional love, this is conditional love. Choice number 3 would be to forgive, radically accept the person, and leave the relationship, right? And this, believe it or not, is unconditional love, right? Because we are really just wishing well upon that person, or wishing well and taking care of ourselves. This may sound like I love you, however, I also love myself, and I can see this relationship is really hurting me. I really wish you well. I hope that you find somebody that can help you grow and heal. I'm just not that person right now, right? Again, just wishing well to the person, and the natural consequence of this is that the person will go through a grieving process. Hopefully the person will decide to grow. Again, that is that person's choice. However, the person that is forgiving, the person who's radically accepting, will be in less pain. Eventually the pain will stop and the person will be able to grow and have healthier relationships. Choice number 4 is to forgive, radically accept the pattern of behavior, and to stay, right? And this is a lot of work. And this is unconditional love, right? And it's especially a lot of work for those couples or parents, adopted parents, who have family members who have developmental trauma, right? Because the change and growth can be really slow and sometimes feels like it's never going to happen. And so this may sound like, I know this is difficult for you, I love you and I'm willing to stay and work with you, work together, work on myself so we can both grow, so I can be here to soothe you when you need it. And so what happens, the natural consequence of this is when the highly dysregulated couple, child, parent feels seen, validated, unconditionally loved, then there is the fertile soil for growth, right? So this doesn't mean that, oh my goodness, if I forgive my family member, if I accept my family member, they're immediately gonna change. This is not how I work. If only the world was that magical, right? It's just, it gives a fertile ground for the person to be able to grow. And then the person who is doing the forgiving, the radical acceptance of the pattern of behavior, will be in a lot less pain, and hopefully eventually the pain will subside as both people continue to grow. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you soon. Bye.